This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is the only daily podcast which curates 4 top compliance, ethics, and/or corruption stories for your listening and viewing pleasure if you're watching this on YouTube. We daily look at some of the top stories, and it gives you a great way to start your day around compliant ethics and sometimes corruption. So check out the Daily Compliance News. It's on the Compliance Podcast Network. Also, if you haven't done so, please check out AI Today in 5, where I look at 5 AI compliance-related stories on a daily basis as well. Thank you. The Daily Compliance News for September 4, 2025, the Hissy Fit edition. And we begin with that story from the New York Times Deal Book, as the EU is expected to penalize Elon Musk's company X, which has been accused of breaking the EU digital services law. Now, President Trump has criticized this law, and he has criticized any fine that will be leveled against X. The question is, will he throw his typical hissy fit? Yes, a Trump hissy fit when the EU fines Musk for its violation of EU law, and will he pull the trade agreement? Hissy fit Trump. What's your wallet say? Next up from the Reuters, the U.S. District Judge who's handling the Department of Justice case against Boeing is holding a hearing. Judge Reed O'Connor will consider objections from the relatives of some of those killed in crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia to the non-prosecuted agreement that enables Boeing to escape oversight from an independent monitor. The Department of Justice, of course, completely caved into all of Boeing's demands and removed the monitorship from the table, in addition to a variety of other things. So it's going to be interesting to see what the judge does and if he'll impose a special master. Next up, from Bloomberg, an opinion piece by Joel Michaels, guest columnist, asks, is the U.S. government's stake in Intel a corrupt spin on industrial policy? The Trump administration's announcement of its purchase of just under 10% of Intel isn't likely to be a one-off move. This is something we discussed this week on Everything Compliance. And more investments in the semiconductor industry are apparently to come. But what does this mean for U.S. policy? The actions have opened an overdue debate on whether and when government should use investment dollars as a way to regulate. Commentators have raised hard questions about whether taking a stake in Intel effectively serves U.S. interest in Everything Compliance. Matt Kelly raises the issue of, does this make this a governmental entity for purposes of things like anti-corruption laws from across the country, and is now Intel a government entity? Business people should be concerned about the power of the president to centralize investments in his hands. And of course, there's always the Trump factor. Finally, we return again to the Nestlé, now fired Nestlé CEO Laurent Freixe, who had an improper, intimate relationship with a marketing executive who worked under him. Well, it turns out all of this started because of a hotline report brought to the attention of the board. But it took 2 investigations, more hotline reports, and a letter to the Nestlé chairman before the food company acted. Why didn't they act sooner? Pretty clear something was going on, even if it wasn't hanky-panky. It was certainly hanky something. But it took this much time for Nestlé to determine that whatever he was doing, the former CEO was violating the company's policy and procedures on this matter. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.